Guys, enrich your lives. Go down these weird rabbit holes. When a friend invites you to do something super weird, say yes. Go try it. The goal of this game of life that we're all playing, it is not money, it is not success, it is entirely brain chemistry. It's entirely how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. Being a master, feeling like you're an expert, that stuff is a trap, and you need to keep your beliefs nimble.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
What's up, Believe Nation? It's Evan. My one word is believe, and I believe in you. I believe you have Michael Jordan level talent at something, and I want you to find it, embrace it, and use it to make a difference. So let's get your motivation to a 10 and get you believing in you. Grab a snack and chew in today's lessons from a man who went from growing up in a morbidly obese family and being dead broke to building a billion-dollar brand and now spending his life trying to help people unlock their human potential and pull them out of the matrix. He's Tom Bilyeu, and here's my take on his top 10 rules of success, volume 5. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, get out and have fun.
Where should one look to find something to get passionate about? Is this an introspective journey or something more extrinsic? Okay, so it is actually, oddly enough, step 1 is not introspective. Step 1 is get out, play, get lost, have fun, try a lot of things, challenge every assumption that you have, get out of your age bracket, hang out with people way outside of how you grew up, a totally different circle. You will be utterly shocked by what ends up being of interest to you. Again, you're not going to stumble on some grand passion, but you're going to stumble on something that's interesting to you. Wow, never even knew this existed. And yet I find myself interested and I want to go down that path. But the only way to do that is to get outside this freakishly small bubble that you have. This is why a lot of people, and I say that because all of us live in a freakishly small bubble. And this is a reason that people often tout travel as a way to really shake up their assumptions about the world, things that they didn't even realize were assumptions, to go and see the way other people live and realize, whoa, like they seem like they're having an amazing time. And yet they do things so dramatically different than the way that I was raised, for instance. So getting out, and even if you can't leave your house, the internet, man, the internet will introduce you to the most eclectic people on the planet. So if you can't afford to travel, get a device with an internet connection and just start searching random shit, follow random stuff and see where it leads. Guys, enrich your lives. Go down these weird rabbit holes. When a friend invites you to do something super weird, say yes. Go try it. That's how you're going to find this stuff. But it isn't turning inward. And I'm a huge believer in, I spend way more than 80% of my time inward, reflecting inward. But that isn't the first step. The first step is encountering. Then you can reflect.
Rule number 2, find deep fulfillment.
So here is the reality about money. So the reason that people chase it, even though I know you've heard 1,000 times, and it is absolutely true, money can't buy happiness. That if you're chasing money, the odds of you ending up with some level of dissatisfaction is incredibly high. But the reason that people ignore that, and the reason that they keep chasing it, and the reason that I myself lived the cliche of money can't buy happiness, is because money actually does have power. Now, the thing that money lets you do, the thing that gives it that power, the reason that people will chase forever and ever and ever is it is the great facilitator. Now, being the great facilitator does not mean that it gives you the thing that you secretly want in your life. So here's the punchline about happiness. The goal of all of this, the goal of this game of life that we're all playing, it is not money, it is not success, it is entirely brain chemistry. It's entirely how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. It's about being deeply fulfilled. It's about being proud of who you are. Now, those are all, for me, synonyms. It's the same thing, which I'm just going to shorthand to fulfillment. The thing that you're chasing is fulfillment. It's the only thing that doesn't sway with the wind. So happiness, in its typical definition, is very transient. So I want to shift people over to thinking about fulfillment. Fulfillment is often born of suffering. It's born of not doing something you want to do. It's born of doing the hard things. Being proud of yourself comes from that. Being proud of yourself comes from working your ass off to acquire a set of skills that, by the way, in and of themselves, in acquiring it, you found that pleasurable. It's something that you're interested in. You've hopefully crafted, developed, built a deep passion around. And in acquiring those skills, in service of that thing that you love and enjoy, you're able to serve other people. That's it. That's the truth of happiness. That's the truth of the thing that is going to give you that sense of fulfillment, that's going to allow you to enjoy your life. Money is never, ever, ever in and of itself going to do that. Money buys cool shit. Money is able to give you those temporary dopamine rushes of going and shopping for something and getting it, and then it's cool, but then that coolness factor wears off very rapidly. The flip side of that, using that money to build something that you believe in, that not only empowers you, but helps empower other people, that will help you develop long-lasting fulfillment. So that's the real thing. But if you're doing something that isn't making you a lot of money, but you're passionate about it, you enjoy the day to day, and it's allowing you to build skills that serve you and other people, I promise you, if you had to choose between the two, which by the way you don't, but if you had to choose between the two, always and forever, every single time, choose fulfillment.
Rule number 3, start taking action.
What do you recommend for a person who isn't fulfilled in their position to make sure they don't get caught in a loop of negativity while searching for something else? So to me, this all comes down to what you're rewarding yourself for, what you value in your life. So I value action. So if I knew that I'd gotten myself into a bad situation, and I have something in my eye, if I knew that I'd gotten myself into a bad situation, and rather than sit there and beat myself up over it, I would say, okay, you're in a bad situation. You got yourself here. Nobody would blame but you. And now, instead of beating myself up over the fact that I got myself into that situation, I am simply going to say, only action matters. And so now I'm just going to start taking action to make sure that I'm fixing that woe. And I find, because I so value action, and by the way, I value it because I know where it leads to my desired outcome. It leads to learning, worst case. So taking that action, driving myself forward, pushing myself, that is what I'm going to reward myself emotionally for. So immediately I get this sense of relief from anxiety, from stress, from worry, because first I'm acknowledging how important that is in my life because it yields rewards. And then second, you're really going to get engrossed in it, and you're going to just be lost in the details of actually trying to solve that problem by leveraging your action to get the desired outcome. So those two things I think will serve you very, very well as you go down that process. So just make sure that you really have that emotional buy-in to the importance of action.
Rule number 4, care about the end result.
Sticking with your good habits is extremely hard because they're boring. So whenever something is boring, it's because somebody's pursuing something that they actually don't give a shit about. And that's the problem. So for instance, eating healthy food all the time isn't thrilling in the way that, say, eating a bag of Oreos is, or black licorice, which is a personal favorite of mine, or fried food, which is truly my weakness. That stuff is fun, man. And you want to talk about a dopamine cascade? I could take a random Tuesday and make it feel like a Saturday night just by deciding that I'm going to cheat on my diet. Now, I don't do that. I cheat maybe twice a year. So it is, when I say it is crazy rare, and yet my life is full of things that thrill me. And I use that word on purpose. Now, what it comes back to is going back to the whole topic of today, habits, and how you stick with them even when you're bored, even when it's not interesting anymore, long after it stopped being fun. The very secret to habits is caring about the thing that habit is meant to lead to. But for real, like really, what do you care about? And for instance, here is a life I pass no judgment on. Man, because if this is what you want and it like you love it and you're filled with fulfillment, it's amazing, great. If you want to sit at home all day and you want to cut your life to the absolute quick financially so that you're living in a tiny hovel with 5 other people, fine. And you're eating Tina's burritos. I don't even know if they still exist, but when I was way hardcore poor, they were awesome because it was 3 for 99 cents, which was amazing. So I could live off of that. And you're cool. You boil it down to nothing. You don't have a car, no insurance, nothing. And you accept that my life is going to be shorter than it would otherwise be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to smoke weed a lot and I'm going to eat bad food a lot. Man, respect. Like if you do it with your eyes wide open and you're loving it and you're having a great time, the only reason that you never hear me talk about that stuff is from my experience, from what I've seen of other people, the only thing that gives the human animal the best feeling, which is to feel good about yourself when you're by yourself, is to do the hard things and to do things that bring fulfillment. And the things that bring fulfillment are often born of momentary suffering, but they allow you to get stronger in order to serve other people. That's it. That's just what I've seen. So I don't think it's better than the alternative that I just described. It's just the only thing that I've seen really lead to that sense of like deep fulfillment. So my thing about the specific part about the good habits are hard to stick with because they're boring, just you've got to attach habits to things you actually really and truly care about. No one can tell you what to care about. You can certainly build that into your life. You can take something that's an interest and build it into something you care deeply about, which I've talked endlessly about, so I won't go into it here, but that is very, very possible. Associate your habits to that thing. Suddenly the habits will be very easy. Don't judge yourself. Live your life the way you want, but respect the realities of neurochemistry.
Rule number 5, put in the time.
I want to dispel a myth for you. It's the talent myth. It's the belief that some people were just born with more than others, that some people are naturally gifted and some aren't, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and whatever you're going to be is essentially determined by how you started, that your DNA is exactly your destiny. I'm here to tell you right now, that's bullshit. It's just not true. It's not the truth of the way that humans are designed. As a species, we're the ultimate adaptation machine. The very thing that puts us at the top of the pyramid is our ability to adapt. It is the fact that the brain is plastic, that it responds to change, it responds to stressors, it responds to repetition. And repetition is a slave to obsession. As Conor McGregor said, there's no talent here. This is hard work. This is an obsession. You could be anyone if you put in the time. That's one of the greatest athletes of our time telling you that he's not the result of genetics. He's not the result of natural gifts. He hasn't been bestowed something by God. He has shown up day after day in the most mundane of conditions. On the cold days, on the hot days, he put in the work because he was obsessed with what he could become. And that repetition that you need to actually gain a skill follows that obsession. So in you right now, today, you want to start building that obsession. You want to look at it like an ember that can become a raging fire, but it needs your time and attention. It needs your time and attention. You've got to take that interest. You've got to take that spark of desire and you've got to fan the flames. You've got to turn it into that obsession. And from that obsession, if you put in the work, if you do the things day in and day out, the back-breaking work, pushing through the pain, fighting through, feeling like an idiot, fighting through embarrassment, getting up, brushing yourself off, doing it again, practicing, putting yourself at somebody's feet and asking, what could I have done better? Not look at the things you're doing well, but look at the things you're doing wrong. Look at the things you're doing poorly, staring at your inadequacies with no loss of pride. Because the only thing you value in yourself is your willingness to do that, your willingness to work your ass off. And as Sylvester Stallone said, I'm not the richest, smartest, or most talented person in the world, but I succeed because I keep going and going and going. And that's the secret.
Rule number 6, go step by step.
I think my goal may be too big. Anybody else gonna chime in on that one? I write it every day, but it makes me feel heavy, daunted, and terrified to pursue it rather than excited. Okay, that's powerful. Have I chosen my goal poorly or do I need to man up? Okay, dude, Brian, I love you so much for this question. in this question is like everything that people go through. So first of all, your goal is not too big, okay? You're just not yet the person you need to be to execute against that. And that is absolutely fine. I'm not yet the person I need to be in order to rival Disney. I know that. And so every day I'm waking up not saying, am I there yet? Am I there yet? Am I there yet? I'm thinking, what's one really simple thing that I could do right now today to learn something that moves me down that path? Or who can I partner with? You know, what's the idea that I need to get other people excited about what I'm doing? So that's super important. So your dream is never too big. Even if you said you want to terraform Mars, I'm with you, right? That's our boy Elon Musk is literally thinking about that. So your dream isn't too big. You just don't think about like the end goal and let it overwhelm you, which is what is happening to you. You're writing it every day, okay? So you're obsessing about that end goal, that end outcome, which first of all, if that end outcome is about a thing, like the thing that I think about every day is not building a studio to rival Disney, even though that's often what I externalize to people. What I think about internally, the thing that warms my soul, is I think about the people out there that are extraordinary. They could do something amazing with their lives, but they won't because they don't believe in themselves. So what I think about, the thing that drives me, that obsesses me, and fills me with excitement and joy to get good enough to actually do it, is helping people develop an empowering mindset. That's my obsession. The whole rival Disney thing is a path, and I think it's the right path, and I'm excited to do it, and I love it. But at the end of the day, the thing that keeps me going when I'm feeling overwhelmed is helping other people. So figure out what that thing is, that huge goal that you have, why you want it, because chances are that you're going to be able to do it in smaller ways along the way as well. So it's not like this, 20-year chasm of binary nothingness where you're not at all doing what you want to do and then suddenly one day it either happens or it doesn't, like winning the lottery. That it's these incremental steps. Okay, so you write it down every day. Start writing down the beautiful thing that you want to bring into the world, and also even that, like, you should be spending time, what are you grateful for right now, thinking about what you want to learn, thinking about things that excite you. It makes you feel heavy, daunted, and terrified to pursue it. Okay, so if it makes you feel heavy, daunted, and terrified to pursue it because you're obsessing over the end goal, it's some like traditional marker of success, money, a big company, whatever, and not how you want to help people, then it's just a matter of reframing. If, on the other hand, it's because you think you're supposed to want that thing, but you don't actually want it, and so the idea of pursuing it and all that you would have to do to get there is just horrifying to you, then yes, you've picked the wrong goal. Only you can answer that question. I have no idea which of the two is true. Just remember, don't chase something because people have told you that you should want it. Literally just look at what gives you more energy than it takes.
Rule number 7, keep your beliefs nimble.
When does confidence become harmful? How do you detect overconfidence that might stop you from striving to get better every day? Okay, so I don't think that confidence is ever dangerous. What I think is dangerous is a way of approaching the world. If you value yourself for being a master, if your confidence comes from, I know this stuff, then you're gonna be in trouble. Because I think that the reality is that being a master, feeling like you're an expert, that stuff is a trap. And you need to keep your beliefs nimble. So the more you learn, the more you need to be checking yourself to make sure that that stuff isn't calcifying into dogma, meaning that it becomes like, I do it this way, and that's the way I do it. That's the way I've always done it. That's what my success is based on, so I'm gonna keep doing it. That becomes incredibly dangerous, especially now in a world that changes and evolves so quickly. What worked yesterday may not keep working tomorrow. So you've got to constantly be willing to check your assumptions. And I think the easiest way to check your assumptions is to write them down. Writing them down is going to force you to have clarity on what your assumptions are. So that's really, really important. And I'm going through this right now in building the studio. I have a belief system about the way that things work. I have a belief system about the way that marketing works, and I'm constantly trying to check that. And so I found that there were some beliefs that were so embedded in me, I didn't even realize anymore that they were beliefs. And so there's that whole concept of David Foster Wallace, the guy that wrote the speech, This is Water. Look it up on YouTube right now, in fact. I don't even mind if you bail out of this right now to go watch it. It's that important to get this concept burned into your psyche. The fish is the last one to become aware of the water. It is so ubiquitous that they don't even realize it's a thing. That's what happens with your beliefs. You begin to believe them and internalize them so much that you forget at one point that that was something that you learned or discovered or chose to believe. And so at some point, that now may be holding you back. So I find writing them down so that I'm aware of what my assumptions are, I'm aware of what my beliefs are. Then I can go in and say, and this is straight from Tim Ferriss, if you haven't watched the episode of Impact Theory with Tim Ferriss, check it out. He talks about, what if you did the opposite? What if you did the opposite for 24 or 48 hours? It's very easy to overcome that and back out of it if it doesn't work. But for 24 or 48 hours, just try it. What if you had the opposite belief? What if you approach things in the opposite manner? Would you get a better result? And doing that and checking your beliefs and assumptions against that can be incredibly powerful. It will certainly open up new vistas, new possible avenues. I highly, highly recommend that.
Rule number 8, prioritize properly.
How you determine what your top tasks are for any given day. This is a great question already. I have many different to-do items and it's hard to know what to prioritize. Okay, so you've got to know, what's my goal? Where am I trying to get to? You're going to back into the daily tasks. Okay, so now if we know what we're looking at are daily tasks that are meant to feed into some longer term goal, what we're looking for are lead dominoes. So what are the things, like if I do this, then it will have a knock-on effect. So I'll give you an example. One lead domino for me is always to delegate. So I'm always starting my day by thinking, what can I delegate? Because once I delegate something, then it starts moving on. So on my list of important things, one of the sections is to delegate. So doing that, that is, it's a time multiplier. It's a force multiplier. So if I get that going, then now all of a sudden that project is running and it's essentially like I've just added man hours to my day. So I'm going to start with those things. I'm going to make sure that everybody's moving and doing the things that they want. The next thing is, what is a roadblock, an impediment to something that's important in my world, generating revenue or building the community? Those are the two things that like I really think about. So if I do this thing, will it generate revenue or will it make the community bigger? So those are the two things that we have to do. Now, ultimately, the reason that I give a shit and I care deeply about revenue is the juice, man. It is the engine that is going to allow whatever you're doing to go on. So making sure that you're thinking about things that are actually going to generate revenue for you. And then for us, the community is, those are the people that we want to serve. They also give us a lot of power. So thinking about them, but ultimately we won't be able to serve them for very long if we're not able to get the revenue coming in that we want. And even if we have revenue coming in and we're profitable, every bit more revenue that we get because we're filtering it back into the company, then we're just able to serve more and more people. So I'm always looking at those two things.
Rule number 9, break yourself in half.
I am literally willing to do whatever it takes within my code of ethics to achieve my goals. So that's what I mean by break myself in half. I'm willing to work literally Monday through Friday. If I'm awake, I'm either working or working out. So to the point where I brush my teeth with my headphones on so that I can get the last little eeks of the day out. From the moment I wake up, I go immediately to the gym, I work out, and then I immediately do my morning routine, which I've gone through so many times, I won't waste my time with it now, but I go right into that immediately, and that carries me all the way through. So like today, I woke up at 4:15. So I wake up around that time every day, somewhere between, let's say 3 and 5. That's my typical wake up window. And I'm going to work or work out from that moment until I go to bed, and I go to bed at the same time every night, which is 9 p.m. So somewhere around about 8:45 is when I begin my nighttime ritual of brushing my teeth and all of that. But even then, I am listening to a book or something along those lines. So that is what I mean by break myself in half. And then on the weekends, by the way, on a lazy weekend, I probably work 5 to 7 hours a day. And then on a hardcore weekend, like last weekend, where I was working literally until midnight on a Saturday, I'll clock, say 13, 14 hours of work. That's on a weekend. So that's what I mean by break myself in half. Now, the whole point is that I'm building something that I believe in. I'm building something that gives me a deep sense of fulfillment. I believe that not only am I empowering myself and making myself stronger and more capable of the things that I want to do and the things that give me joy and give me more energy than they take, but that I am doing something that serves a lot of people, that goes way beyond me. And the not so secret thing, I love the puzzle of seeing if I can figure out something that other people can't figure out. That is a deeply enjoyable pastime of trying to improve myself, to learn enough, to think of the problem in a new enough way, to challenge my own assumptions, to do all of that, to be able to see a problem in a way that nobody else can, to see a solution that nobody else can see. I love doing that. So all of this energy and effort, it is in things that give me more energy than they take, So it's just a pleasurable existence. And I don't want to hear people, I don't want people to hear in what I say that I'm just like grinding it out. I tried that. I did that for 6.5 years and it was a total misery. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying work that hard in service of something that you believe in, that makes you feel alive, that you love doing. If you do that, then breaking yourself in half, that just becomes a metaphor for the amount of energy that you're willing to put into the things that you believe in.
And rule number 10, my personal favorite, and also the last one before a very special bonus clip, is change your attitude.
As Maya Angelou said, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. That's some of the best advice you're ever going to hear. At the end of the day, you should always be trying to change the things that you have the ability to change. But there are inevitably going to be things that you can't change. But you're never helpless. You're never a victim. In that moment, you still have the unbelievable ability to choose to look at it in a new way, to choose to reframe it. And in that reframing, you change everything. You don't just change your own neurochemistry. You're not just changing the way that you feel. You're actually changing the way that you're going to approach the problem. Something that was moments before, something that seemed impossible, something that was breaking your will to continue to fight, with a change in attitude becomes something completely different. And as Hans Selye said, adopting the right attitude can turn a negative stress into a positive one. And that game of mental jujitsu is what it's about. That game of flipping something on its head, of turning something around, of seeing it in a new way so that you can act in a new way, is how you make forward progress. And understanding that, understanding the need to take control of your perceptions, understanding that, understanding your need to change your perspective, that's how you begin to get ahead. Once you understand that your perspective is a choice, it is not objective truth. Burn that into your mind. It is not objective truth. The world that you see around you is simply the perspective through which you see it. All of life is a funhouse mirror. And when you acknowledge that, when you understand that you're looking at a distorted view of the way the world is, you realize that you can adopt a different distortion. You can adopt a distortion that allows you to see things more clearly, that allow you to see things in a way that empower you. And that should always be the first step, is figuring out not what is, not what you can change, but instead understanding what you need to change it to. And understanding that that change comes from inside you. It isn't a manifestation that you have to make in the outside world first. It's a change you have to make inside yourself. It is a shift of perspective. It is simply stepping to the side of what you're used to and how you're used to seeing things, and understanding that in reframing things, you take that negative and turn it into something that builds you up. But you've got to choose. You've got to decide. You've got to believe that you can do it. But once you believe that you can see things in any way that you need to reach your goals, your life will change forever, because you'll actually reach your goals.
Now I've got a really special Tom Bilyeu bonus clip on how to prime your mind that I think you're really going to enjoy. But before that, question of the day, which clip resonated more with you? Change your attitude or go step by step? Let me know in the comments below. Change your attitude or go step by step. Thank you guys so much for watching. I believe in you. I hope you continue to believe in yourself and whatever your one word is. Much love. I'll see you soon, and enjoy the bonus clip.
What do you recommend for a person who isn't fulfilled in their position to make sure that they don't get caught in a loop of negativity while searching for something else? All right, this is all about mental management. I read like not too long ago, oh, I really want to remember who this is. I'm doing them a disservice, because this really impacted me. And it was that when they wake up in the morning, one of the things that they do, and I think we may have already aired the episode of the person that said this, so hopefully one of you guys can chime in and remind me who said this. But they were saying that they'll set their emotional intention, like the thing that they want to feel, by like putting on a song, by literally saying, okay, that's what they said. Now I'm saying what I found going along with like picking a song or setting something like that I literally just remind myself, feel good, be upbeat. I know how dumb that sounds, but it literally works. Like some part of you inside at a biological level knows the mechanisms, knows the neurochemistry to pump, so you don't have to like think about what neurotransmitters you want to pump. You literally just remind yourself, feel good, feel good. And I find it always changes my posture. So I'm gonna do something with my body. So for those that are listening and not watching, I'm gonna sit up taller. I'm going to put my shoulders back. I'm going to smile a little. Even if I'm all by myself, I put what I call a hint of a smile on my face. And in doing that, it is so weird how those physical hooks actually start to change your neurochemistry. And then if I really need to or want to, just for fun, to have that energy, I will put on a song that really gets me in a fun place. If that song, which normally works, isn't working that day, I will skip and find another one. But in just reminding yourself to feel that way, in making the demand of yourself from a playful, fun place that I can literally right now in this moment choose to exist in a state of happiness, of going through gratitude, all of those things will work to prime your mind to feel that stuff.
If you tell yourself a story long enough, you start to believe it. And once you believe it, you act like it.
I have tussled with a whale, I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. Now you know I'm bad. Only last week I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick.
The fundamental key to success is
It can take between 18 and 254 days of taking action for a new habit to stick. I've created a new course called 254 Confidence, where every single day for 254 days, I will be sending you a video between 30 seconds and 5 minutes long that you start your morning with around making you feel confident. It's absolutely free. Check out the link in the description below to get access.